Hi, I'm Don. I am a docent here at the Wings of History Air Museum in San Martin, California. You know, in addition to the planes and other exhibits we have, one of the things that's really great is our collection of aircraft engines. We have radial engines, inline engines, turboprops, and even a ramjet. Here's just some of the engines going by that we have on display. I'm not going to talk about all those today. That would be a very long video. Today I'm just going to talk about 5. The first one I'm going to start with is this beautiful 9-cylinder radial engine. This is a Wright J5 Whirlwind engine. It was state-of-the-art in the late 1920s and is probably most famous as the engine that powered Charles Lindbergh's flight 33.5-hour flight from New York to Paris in 1927. So this is a very beautifully restored engine, and it is one of my favorites. Okay, so let's move on to the next engine. Okay, this next engine is much larger than the Wright Whirlwind that we looked at a few moments ago. This is a Pratt & Whitney twin wasp engine. It's one of the, it was produced in very large numbers, over 173,000 units from 1931 to 1951. This engine developed 1,200 horsepower. It's 14 cylinders, 2 rows of 7 cylinders. It was used in a lot of significant aircraft, including the B-24 Liberator bomber in World War II and the DC-3. The example we have here at Wings of History has cutaway cylinder head, so you can see how large the pistons are, and you can see the internal supercharger. Okay, let's move on to engine number 3. Okay, the next engine is the Hispano-Suiza 12Y. This series of engines was introduced in 1932 and was used by the French Air Force prior to World War II. It is a V12 engine with 6 cylinders on each side and 3 carburetors feeding those cylinders on each side. It also had a supercharger in the back, and in the front you have the reduction gear that drove the hub to which the propeller was attached. You know, this hole in front of the in the propeller hub is for a cannon barrel, and the cannon could be mounted within the V, and very interesting design. Anyway, that's our Hispano-Suiza V12 engine. Okay, this is our Rolls-Royce Dart turboprop engine. It develops about 1,670 horsepower and can rotate up to 14,000 RPM. The Rolls-Royce Dart was the first turboprop engine used in commercial airliners. The British airliner Vickers Viscount from the late 1950s utilized 4 of these engines for propulsion. And turboprop engines have some significant advantages over piston-driven engines. Planes that use turboprops can generally climb faster, fly higher, and are more efficient than piston-driven aircraft. And they require significantly less maintenance. The turboprop has far fewer moving parts than, say, one of those large radial engines we looked at a few minutes ago. The way turboprops work is similar to a jet engine in that there's an air intake, a compressor stage that compresses air and sends it into a combustion chamber where it's mixed with fuel and ignites, and then the hot gases, they propel a turbine in the back that's connected to a drive shaft, which goes to reduction gears, which turns the propeller. So the propeller doesn't turn at the full 5 to 14,000 RPM. It turns at significantly less due to the reduction gears. But it's actually a very efficient process overall. The last engine I'm going to talk about today is this Hiller ramjet engine. Now, when you hear ramjet, you probably think about things like a cruise missile or the SR-71, things that fly real fast. Well, in the 50s, Hiller got the idea that they could power a helicopter using ramjet. So they mounted one of these on each side. They mounted two of these on the rotors, and they did test it with the Army, but at the lower speeds of a helicopter rotor, the ramjets are just not efficient. They need high-speed air to get the proper compression. So it was inefficient, it was loud, and it spewed flames. So it never really took off, so to speak. It did have one advantage in that since you did not need to have a tail rotor if you were using this, because it was mounted on the rotors and there was no torque applied to the fuselage of the helicopter. Anyway, an interesting experiment. If you want to see a Hiller Hornet helicopter, you could see one of those at the Hiller Aviation Museum. Okay, that's it for my very quick tour of some of the engines. As I said, this is a small sample of what we have here. So if you come visit us, we will tell you stories about all these engines if you're interested. And thank you for watching today.